So, I read this article the other day on litreactor.com called Advanced Storytelling Techniques. I ignored the sentence, "These are for authors that are already functioning at a high level," more of a suggestion anyway, and proceeded to learn about some interesting story structures that I wanted to share. At first, I thought Roshaman was a Bible character with a funky name, like Boaz or Drusilla. But no. Apparently, roshaman is a story structure based on a 1950s movie called, Roshaman. Basically, it pioneered a plot device that involves various characters providing subjective, alternative, self-serving, and contradictory versions of the same incident. Think The Interviews from Knives Out, where all the different characters have a different spin on the same night. Daniel Craig listens to all of them and tries to determine the truth by piecing it together.
You will find me a respectful, quiet, passive observer of the truth.
That's the Rashomon structure. Relay different details from different perspectives and leave it up to the reader to figure out what they deem to be true. No, not this fever dream of a series. Anthropomorphism is another literary technique that sounds a whole lot more complicated than it actually is. It's basically giving human characteristics to non-human objects of your story. It's similar to personification, but according to Google, it refers to something non-human behaving as human rather than giving human traits to non-human things. The difference is that it's behavior rather than assigned traits. So now I know you're even more confused. Examples that the author, Richard Thomas, includes are Father Time, Mother Nature, and Uncle Sam. He says that the point of anthropomorphism is to show that animals know more than we think, create gods and goddesses that are fathomable, and then let your imagination run wild.
Okay, class, time to see who studied for our Latin test.
I'm just kidding, of course. Latin has been dead for as long as Father Time has existed. In media res is Latin for into the midst of things. The gist of it is that you don't start Batman's story when he was a toddler. Instead, you begin at the inciting incident of his story, his parents getting murked a la Jeffrey Epstein in an alleyway. If you want to make a short story or narrative more exciting, start where there is already action. Loop stories are kind of polarizing, but if you do them right, they can be incredibly powerful. Movies like Edge of Tomorrow or Palm Springs give us the blueprint for making a good story in a loop format. We watch the same thing over and over again, until a break in the pattern makes us believe we can get out, kinda like the Jets losing game after game until they win by some miracle, only to get blown out the next week. The key here is that something has to change. It's all about setting the baseline response, and then playing with variations, escalating the tension, raising the stakes as you go.